Today on the Canadian Way, the 2012 Fiat 500. And everybody knows what Fiat means. Fix it again, Tony! Buongiorno, hi. I borrowed this Fiat 500 Lounge from Sarah. Well, thanks Sarah. This Fiat 500, it's the first generation that arrived in 2012 here in Canada. Back in 2012, a base model for a Fiat 500 worth around $16,000. But this particular one is the Lounge and it worth $19,500. Now, if this car was affordable, there's two reasons for its failure. First thing, it's because it's not practical. And another thing, it's because it's not reliable at all. Nowadays, this car with a decent mileage worth around 3.5 grand, which is not a lot for a less than 10 years old car. Every Italian car, the design is flamboyant, but I don't like it. Plus, it have a tons of ergonomic issue. First thing, the front end looks like a mouse. And here we have the gigantic windshield that is ready to receive all those rocks, and it's gonna be expensive to replace. These flashers here that were mounted in the front bumper was a terrible idea, because here in Canada we have some snowbanks and we smash it with the front end. And the fog here, forget it. I'm surprised it's still alive. And inside the headlamp, you can see that it's rated 500 because they want to make sure that this headlamp fits on this particular car. And of course, for the Lounge model, they had some chrome mirror because it's cheaper than a color match one. The Fiat 500 have a terrible paint quality, and as a result, rocker panel here, they tend to rust. And the main reason why this car failed, it's because it's a two-door and it's not practical. These tires are 185, 55, 15 and they are pretty cheap to replace. Don't forget that this particular car has 122,000 kilometers on. And look at the rocker, they're rusted. In the back, the look of the Fiat looks flamboyant as the front end. God, it's ugly. Like we said before, the Italians are bad with the ergonomy. As a result, Fiat 500 is the worst car to follow because it throws rock like you can't imagine. The way the bumper is designed, it allows the rock to be thrown straight in your windshield. A muffler like this is pretty expensive just because it's pretty. This is Fiat's quality. How are you gonna be able to lift the snow out of the window? Getting the interior with the trunk, the way the trunk lifts is amazing, but Fiat's quality. And here is the cargo cover. Look what it looks like. Again, Fiat's quality. The trunk have 184 liters of cargo space, which is definitely not a lot. To fold down the seats, all you need to do is press on each side's button, but it feels definitely cheap. With the seats down, the cargo space is 496 liters. It's around the same of a compact sedan. And not to forget that it's not Cinepark approved or dishwasher approved. Seating in the front seat, the door opens pretty wide, but the door is heavy and it's huge. Seating position is very comfortable. The access is easy because the seats are high and the car is low. steering wheel position is well placed. Feels like you're sitting in an SUV.
Right, first off, a Fiat 500 for a guy like me. The front seat. It's not cool. My head is stuck in the ceiling. Now let's get in the back. I hate you. I made it. The seat doesn't want to come back to his place because I'm too big, and my head is stuck in the ceiling. And my head is stuck again the ceiling again, but like even worse than the front seat. I hate this car. Seriously, I hate it. Now let's leave the back seat. I'm alive.
The presentation is unique inside the 500, but the build quality is completely terrible. The door panel is so damn cheap, and it very aged badly, definitely. And here we have the door locks, because the Windows switch is over here and not installed on the door panel. The material, the build quality is very cheap. The cluster is very original. The steering was white before, but not anymore. This particular 500, we have a Bose sound system. This is how we adjust the volume here, plus, minus. And everything around the radio is have a cheap feeling. Everything is cheap on the radio. Otherwise, the sound system is very great. Look how cheap the dash is. Charles have his hands underneath and he can move it. We have everything for your climate control, and again, everything around it feels so cheap. And when I activate the blower, the sounds that it makes, it is so much cheap. I don't know if you can hear it, but it sounds like an airplane. The heated seat button is placed very close to the shifter, so that it can be very annoying. And I don't want to imagine the manual. That's the build quality of a Fiat. The door handle is so damn loose.
They put the armrest like this to allow you to move it when your boyfriend is driving, so that you can spice up the moment.
Under the hood, we're gonna find something that looks like an engine. Well, it is an engine. It's a 1.4 liter with a 101 horsepower and 98 foot-pounds of torque. The multi-air engine is known for having multi-issue. It's known for gasket blown. It's known for doesn't start in winter. It's known for a tons of issues that we don't have enough time in one video to list all them. The 500 has independent suspension in the front and torsion bar in the back. The most common issue for the 500 is the electronic and electric problems. Driving the Fiat 500, first thing I notice is the visibility. The visibility is great. I see everything around me. Also notice that the sound deadening of this car is inexistent. I hear everything outside. Normally, we don't review cars that have some issue, but it's impossible with a Fiat. They all have issues. Steering wheel is precise, it's quick, but completely disconnected. The performance of the engine is really weak. It has a lack of power. I don't understand those car journalists who says that it's fun to drive, because I'm definitely not excited to drive that car right now. I feel nothing. And because the car is pretty small, it's very agile. It's not because it's agile that it's fun. Maybe if I would have drive a Abarth, it would probably save the day.
What do you think about the Fiat 500?
The Fiat 500 is the cheapest car that we have reviewed on our channel, and I think it's completely disapproved.
Disapproved?
Yeah.
Well, I have to agree with you. I can't believe that a car made in 2012 had this build quality, and that this car was built until 2018. The build quality is approximately the same than a PT Cruiser.
Yeah.
The reliability is not there. The car is not practical. Even at $3,500, I won't say it's a disapprove.
Yeah.
I think it's a failure.
It's
Considering
a failure.
the year it is, it's a failure. What do you think?
Yeah. So the 2012 Fiat 500 is a Canadian failure.
And for those who told me that they weren't happy about what I said about the Hyundai Insight, this is way worse than the Hyundai Insight. Way worse. This is now the worst car I ever driven.